All right, I'm going to talk to you today briefly about electronic packages and some common errors. My name's Terri Phelan. I work specifically with 4 departments. I augment faculty efforts. As a wise man recently said that faculty, there's no replacement for faculty. How I help is mainly with building the electronic package for the faculty I work with. If I build the package, it allows them to free up their time to focus on the science of the proposals and budget considerations and building teams. I'm a second set of eyes in terms of conformance of documents to instructions and interpreting instructions and converting documents and some post-award requests. This is what I do not do. What editing I do is to a small extent in terms of formatting or and margins and that sort of thing. We all, to some degree, perform secretarial tasks every day, but what I don't do is generate finished documents from rough drafts or update faculty documents. Faculty need to be doing that themselves. Electronic packages, these are the main points I want to cover today. The Adobe issues, instructions, templates, and some attachments. Adobe Compatibility. It's very important for electronic packages that the Adobe version that you use to convert the documents is compatible with grants.gov, and that you're working with the electronic package in a grants.gov compatible version of Adobe. The bottom line for our campus is 8.1.3 version is proven, and that's what I use. This is actually yes. It is compatible, but for me specifically, in terms of talking with Brenda with our Ag Tech group, I go back to the statement that 8.1.3 is proven. For me, those new bells and whistles aren't really necessary for what I do. If you really want to press that point with and you submit your own electronic packages, then that's a discussion that the faculty would need to have with Brenda. The general consensus in talking with Brenda is 8.1.3. We know that's proven, and at least for me in my position, upgrading is not necessary. You would need to have those discussions with Brenda directly. Any faculty would if you wanted to upgrade. But notice that I'm not sure where Adobe is currently in the versioning, but this is off of the grants.gov website, and it goes up to 9.2. Yes?
So would you prefer to just have the documents submitted to you as Word documents and then you go to conversion?
That is one way that I help is to do that. Yes, if you know that what you do is the Adobe you have is compatible, that's fine. A lot of the letters of collaboration come in already in PDF, and I can understand why they don't want to do that. But when I attach them into the package and then save that package, when you save that electronic package that's going to be submitted, that has to be a grants.gov compatible version. So as far as the documents coming in, that's not quite an issue the same way now as it used to be 2 years ago.
The problem with these
actually from the RFAs, AFRI RFAs, and the takeaway from this slide is the deadline. Application versus submission, and that you need to allow yourself enough time, because if you get kicked out, you're not going to have enough time to find the problem, fix it, and get it submitted. Even though it's possible that the way the electronic system works, you can actually get it submitted, it'll accept it, but it'll be past the deadline and considered late. This is actually an email that a project director sent to his co-PIs, and a national stakeholder. And the point I wanted to make about this is this was, they submitted this on the day of the deadline. The system kicked them out. They worked hard to find the problems. They resubmitted it 18 minutes late, but the program leader made the point to them that even if it was 1 minute late, it would have not been put into the review system, and then there was no flexibility in the matter. A lot of people don't know that there's actually two sets of instructions. There's a set for the electronic package, and then there's whatever instructions are in the RFA. If there's any discrepancy, the RFA takes precedence. Document conversion, and not only is the version of Adobe important, but when you combine multiple PDFs into one document, such as what has to be done with individual conflicts of interest forms. Those are all combined into one document and attached into the package. Letters of collaboration are combined into one document and attached to the package. And that method of combination that you use to combine those PDFs into one PDF has to be done the correct way, or it's not going to be, the reviewers, it's not going to be readable on their end. And the correct method is choosing merge files, not assembling files into a PDF package. There's 4 templates that are used in the AFRI submissions. Everyone is familiar with the project summary templates. Project type is new this year. Basically just check mark some boxes in terms of the project type and grant type. A lot of faculty have not moved their information on the current and pending support forms from the old template into the new template. I would encourage you to do that. It's pretty much the same thing, but there's a new template, and why not, right? And a lot of people forget that all of their pending proposals need to be listed in that pending section. Conflict of interest forms, there's still a lot of people using the old template. The new template is better, and actually there is actually a reason to go ahead and move it, because on the old template, both on the current and pending support form as well as on the conflict of interest form, the main thing is that the new templates have different margins, and I would encourage you to move your information. And on the conflict of interest forms, a lot of people, most faculty don't actually follow the one direction about listing names, last name first. I just thought I'd take this opportunity to point that one out.
Terri, be sure to add the documents they're working on have issues that need to be in the current and pending as well.
I did that already. I covered that one right there. And then attachments. There's several attachments that have to be included in the electronic package. Some are in every package. Some are specific to the program area. You'll just have to read the RFA and see what's there. This is the first RFA I've seen that actually has an attachment that's specific key personnel roles. For this AFRI, I wanted to point out specifically that I've noticed that in the appendices in the past, you could attach reprints in all the RFAs. It specifically says preprints this time with a letter of acceptance from the peer-reviewed journal, and there are formatting requirements. I wanted to point that out to you. This format is in every RFA. I've checked those sections. Font, 12 point, margins 1 inch all around, line spacing, not exceed 6 lines of vertical text. Typically, if you stay with Times New Roman, you'll be okay. Page limitations, number of pages. This is the first time I've seen in RFAs where they specifically spell out where they want each attachment to be titled, and it's a specific type, a specific format of title in the document header, and there's specific name conventions that are required that I think Mike may cover. But those are spelled out in the RFA as well. The table of content is your friend. This part 4C is where you'll find the formatting instructions, including names and such for attachments. And while matching is not necessarily a consideration in this proposal opportunity, I would suggest that for every RFA that comes out, the cost sharing and matching section is the first thing that you look for and consider. The common errors that I have seen is not reading the RFA on the front end. Often, if you don't look at that matching section, you can actually miss the boat on a couple of things. Believing that the RFA hasn't changed and procrastinating because it can change from year to year and has changed in terms of this particular AFRI cycle versus the previous one. Later incomplete budgets. Get your budget to Mike Cisco as early as you can. He's a very good resource in terms of catching things that you might not be aware of. Incomplete budgets, an example would be, I customarily see where there's been a graduate role position for graduate students, but tuition and fees for that graduate positions has not been included. Often docs, frequently the documents do not conform to the required format. I believe it's important to review the RFA throughout the process and remind yourselves what is required. And again, submitting early. If you don't submit early, you're going to miss the boat. And just to try and make that point, these are statistics from the last complete federal fiscal year. In 2009, through the grants.gov system, there were over 300,000 applications that they received, and in one day there was 8,392 that were processed in one day. So submit as early as possible. The way to, if you take nothing else from my part of this presentation, take these 5 points. Read the RFA early, involve your support staff early. We can't help you if we don't know what you're doing. Manage your co-PIs and required docs and get those in as early as possible. AFRI recommends that you submit the package at least 1 week before the application deadline. On the ground, reality means that you need to send a complete package to Mike Cisco at least 10 days before that application deadline. Otherwise, you will miss the boat.